Hey everybody, and welcome to AniBreak, the show that we usually talk about the week's topics in anime, manga, and video games. But this week is going to be all about my quick review of what happened during the summer season of anime, and a preview of what to expect in this upcoming fall season. Let's just jump right into it with the summer season basically over. I think there's maybe a couple series left that need to air their final episode. It's going to overlap a little bit into the fall season as a couple fall series have already begun, but that's still very early on. A lot of the fall stuff does not actually start until next week. So, but I just wanted to give like a quick little my thoughts on what happened during the summer. I watched a significant amount of anime, like I always do. I always check out what's going on with the between Crunchyroll and with Funimation, showing a majority of everything. I don't even think I ever got to Daisuke or a couple other of the sites and whatnot. Mostly was just on those two, but I I try to watch and give everything at least a few episodes, but there was actually so many that after like episode 3, I just lost complete interest and just dropped it. A few of those I do have to say, let's throw one for starters. Glasslip. I was hoping something like this would have actually been enjoyable. I mean, I usually go for these kind of things where it's kind of slice of life, nothing really, huge happens. I mean, you sorry. Essentially you just have the main character who help runs a glassware studio. All her friends come over to relax. And they have a new boy that joins up at the high school. He tells the main character Toko that he can hear voices from the future. And that's pretty much where things started taking off. But to me, it had a very Kokoro Connect vibe to it in terms of the future aspects of it. But overall, I kind of got bored with it after episode 3, episode 4, and at that point decided, you know what, it kind of doesn't really need it anymore. So I just kind of dropped that and moved on to something else. Another one that I was kind of surprised at myself for actually not getting into it was actually, excuse me, Arya Volin. Now, this one was let me put it this way. You got your standard series of, hey, look, you have new mechs out there. You have, two faction fighting. You have someone who magically can control this brand new prototype system. I mean, we can just go down the checkbox of step by step how to introduce character, how to introduce new technology, new mech. Have a main character have problems with mech and end up having falling out with the mech. It doesn't know how to control it. Has a moment of reflection, then turns around and becomes even more powerful. I mean, we know this path. We kind of know where exactly this is going. I mean, yes, having some nice CG action battles were okay, but overall, there really wasn't much there to grab me, like some other series that we'll get to in just a moment. But yeah, I mean, it was just middle of the road for me. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I was hoping I would. The one that was probably the most controversial for me to actually just drop around episode 5, 6 was Fate Khalid Liner Prisma Ilia. That's a very, or Zwei, if you had to add parts for the second season. I remember going on and on and on about how much I actually enjoyed the first season. I initially thought, I don't need really much of a spin-off, but we'll see where this goes, and ended up truly enjoying it, especially around, I think, episode 7, where things got a little bit more on the dark side. But with season 2, they're really, I can't really say they're rehashing stuff, but a lot of it just seemed, we've gone down this path so many times before, They give their own little tiny spin here and there, and okay, to me, plus also the main characters being so young, it was very hard for me to become attached to the characters, actually care about what's going on. And yes, there was drama, yes, there was darkness, but I mean, overall, I just could not get into it. I know when I made the announcement online, a lot of people were just like, "How dare you? How can you, drop something like this?" And my simple response was, "Have you seen the trailer for Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works? I'd rather have more of that than more of Fate Calais, or Ilya." That's just me. There were a few, actually more than a few, that I actually did finish watching the entire season, but overall I came across as meh. It was all right, but nothing really stuck out to me as it was really good. There were a couple surprises out along the line that, in terms of I actually finished watching it. One in case I was like, I'm surprised I actually got past the first 2 episodes. And that one was actually Rail Wars. I remember seeing the previews for this going, okay, this is just for the train otaku out there. There's going to be nothing deep. It's going to be completely superficial, probably a boatload of fan service. And that's going to be about it. I'll get through an episode, maybe 2, and just drop it. I end up watching the entire series. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2 yet. I haven't heard anything about that so far. But it's nothing compared. Let me rephrase that. There are some series out there where you can just, turn off your mind and just enjoy. This one, almost at that point. I mean, there was a couple things here and there I had to pay attention to. But aside from the little bit of a harem that the main character picks up, not to mention the ridiculous amount of train knowledge you pick up just by watching the 10 to 12 episodes. It was cute. It was fun. It was unfortunately forgettable. I'm probably not going to. If there's a season 2, I'll watch it. But in terms of like picking up the Blu-ray, I really don't think I'm going to do that. So, to each their own. Some other ones out there. One that I'm actually still watching, because it's actually going to take all year to go through, is Sailor Moon Crystal. Now, I know I've raved about this before, and why did I put it in my meh category? Well, it does follow the manga pretty close, and it's actually a breath of fresh air that they're actually doing that. It's more along the lines of, one, the timing, and by the release, there's only one episode every 2 weeks, and to get someone truly involved and hooked into a series, you need at least once a week. Because there was a few times where I've actually forgot that, oh wait, there's a new episode this week. I thought it was actually next week. And while I watch it, it is enjoyable. I had to get over the differences between the older series and this series, which makes sense. You have a whole different series that's not going to be verbatim like it was in to the last episode, or last series I should say, and that's fine. The CG transformation sequences are still kind of off-putting. I couldn't really get into them, but overall, yeah, I'll still watch it. I mean, there's going to be 26 episodes. It's just that this is going to be over the course of a year before we can actually finish the first season. And they're already promoting the Blu-ray box sets, or the individual volumes for the box set. And it's going to be, by the time you finish collecting them all, you're going to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for it. So, we'll see what happens with it. Another series that was, it was okay, it was enjoyable, but nothing really too deep. Invaders of the Rokujoma. I actually was hesitant to start watching this one, because all the trailers just pointed, okay, you have harem, you have, magical girls, you have space future war, girls from the future that are incredibly powerful. And of course, they all fall for this regular guy. I'm like, we've gone through this trope so many times. But to be honest, I only started watching this series probably about 3 weeks ago, just because I actually caught up on everything else, and I still wanted to watch anime, and I had plenty of free time, so I said, screw it, I'll watch this. I'll watch an episode. Okay, the first episode's pretty much exactly what I expected. Let's see what the second episode's going to be like. Yeah, pretty much what expected. But the next thing I know, I've caught up to episode 8. And I went, okay, fine. I guess it has some entertaining merits. You have all these girls who have to, for some reason or another, have to occupy and take over the main character's, room, which is already inhabited by a ghost. Now, you would think, okay, they're all going to be enemies and they all become friends at the end of the series. Well, they all became friends, like episode 4. So all this fighting between each of the girls dissipated so quickly. So now it's just each of the girls have a thing that they're doing. All the other girls help them out, with every once in a while saying, "You're still my enemy." Okay. So if you're looking for deep storyline, storytelling, you're not going to get it here. But for something to watch, late night and just relax, you don't have to think about anything, yeah, just enjoy it. You'll probably check it out. The same can be said for Lokodo, which basically local idols. Basically a girl's transformation between a girl who really has no self-confidence whatsoever to turning into an actual idol. Or at least a local idol at that. Again, I'm a fan of the idol genre. I was loving Idolmaster, and I was loving Wake Up Girls and Love Live and all of those. So why is this one only in the meh category? The small town antics kind of run dry pretty quickly. I mean, yes, she's out there in the boonies. Yes, this is for a local idol. Yes, she's going to learn self-confidence and who she is. But I mean, from there, I got kind of just bored with that. I mean, the musical sequences are okay, they are enjoyable, but they're so few and far between that I just got bored with it. I mean, yes, I did finish it, but I mean, we're talking after I've finished everything else, then I finally got around to this one. But let's talk about the epic ones. And my 3 that I want to talk about right now are pretty much universal for many other people that I've talked about. Obviously, Sword Art Online 2. I have to say the ending to, or so far catching up with everything on Sword Art Online 2, the final battle worked so well. It was a nice build up to it. They didn't have to take too much time to get to it, but they took just enough time to take a little break from the action, include storyline, go back to the action, go back for some more exposition to explain some other aspects, backstory and whatnot of each character. I do have to say, though, the backstory for Shinon to go into this game, I have to say, it's probably one of the weakest weakest reasons I've ever come across in an anime. It does not make sense to me. But it's an anime. It's not going to make sense all the time. So if you ignore her backstory and just focus on the action and the plot between Kirito and Death Gun, really, really well done, especially in the last 3 or 4 episodes. Production was gorgeous, as expected, as always. And I cannot wait for more. I mean, there are still plenty of light novels that have yet to have been touched, so we'll see how long Sword Art Online continues. Another one was Akame ga Kill. Now, with this one, I have to say, the end of the first episode had me intrigued. I'm like, okay, so we started off with this little girl who was supposedly helping out strangers along the way, ends up becoming psychotic and using them as her play toys until she finally destroys them. I was like, and then she gets her just desserts. At the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, this is a series that should probably move along quite fast. And I will have to say there are a couple characters so far that have died. Several that you see in this picture right now. That's not really too much of a spoiler because they kind of put along the path time and time again that the resistance must continue on no matter how many people we lose. And they say that time and time again. And you're like, your foreshadowing is so strong or let me rephrase that. Your foreshadowing is so weak because you repeat it over and over again. There's going to be no surprise. Oh, hey, look, a character died. Okay, so there's some warning there. Oh, hey, look, another character died. Okay. Oh, hey, look, more new characters. Okay, so which one of them are going to die? So, the action's fun. Storyline it's not really deep per se, but you really don't watch this one for that. You watch it for the bit of the humor between the action sequences and, of course, the fight scenes themselves. Because it goes at such a brisk pace is actually what I enjoyed the most about it. You're not focusing so much on who likes who or who's going to want to do or hang out with someone else. It's just, here's some exposition, here's some humor, here's a nice long battle, and then repeat ad nauseum. And it works for me. It's nothing deep, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. I actually enjoyed it because of that fact. But yeah, so if you guys haven't checked it out, you have 13 episodes to catch up on. Episode 14 should be coming up in about 3 days, so we'll see how that one turns out. I'm hoping there's actually going to be a second season for this. Actually, there will be a second season for this one. They left so much open, they kind of have to go forward and continue on. All right, for me, probably the most epic and yet the most aggravating was Alnoa Zero. If you guys watched From a Mother's Basement on Sunday, I kind of just expressed my, let's call it displeasure for how that episode ended. But the more I think about it, it makes a hell of a lot of sense, and it definitely is going to open the door for many, many, many a storyline to continue on in Season 2. Production values were just absolutely gorgeous on this one. I mean, yes, a ridiculous amount of CG, but it blended so well. At least to me, it blended so well. The relationships between each of the characters, you can understand the tragedy. You can understand their reasoning for what they do. And for one of the main characters, a genius at battle strategies and whatnot, he's not overplaying anything, and that's I think one of the best parts about it. There are some people out there who are so great at tactical strategy that they have to leave emotions and everything out the door, and that makes perfect sense, and he does that flawlessly. There's nothing really over-exaggerated here on either side, either the Martians or on the for the Earthians, as you want to call them, I guess. Worked very well. If you guys haven't watched it yet, watch it as soon as possible. And let me say this for Kathy in the chat. You will understand the ending to Season 1 of Alnoa Zero better than Lost. So that is just a taste of my thoughts on the summer season. There were so many others out there that came and went so fast for me that I just didn't care about it. There's so many out there that I'm still meh about. But you know what? After getting information and looking up what's going to happen for the fall season, I have to say I have high hopes for at least a couple series. But rather than just talking endlessly about it, which we'll get to later on, why don't I show you a quick peek of what to expect in the upcoming fall anime season. There are so many series that I could not fit into this video, or else the preview video alone would be about 45 to probably closer to an hour long. And the reason being for that is for all the new series that are starting this season, plus all the continuations from last season, if you include also a couple of the short series, ones that are like 10 minutes an episode or less, you're looking at actually around 50 different series to watch over the next few months. I don't think anybody really has that much time to watch all of these. But I just wanted to grab just a handful of them to give you a glimpse of what to expect. And we'll go into detail on a few of them real quick. Let's start off with a couple that you saw in the video itself. Let's start off with Trinity 7. With excuse me. Trinity 7 is kind of a bit on the unique side. Where is the trailer for that? Sorry, I have all these labeled, but there are so many images here right here. Oh, well, we'll get to that one later. Yeah. So, with Trinity 7, you have this romantic comedy, but sometimes serious magical school show. I'm just reading for what it actually says. The whole idea behind this is that you have this character named Ata Kasuga is wiped out by a bizarre incident known as the collapse phenomenon, which causes worldwide destruction and takes his cousin Hijiri Kasuga to the next world. To resolve this phenomenon and to bring back Hijiri, Arata enrolls in the Royal Biblia Academy. Of course, he meets a group of 7 beautiful female magic users, also known as the Trinity 7. So right away, I'm already looking at harem, magical girl. I'm guessing at least 2 of them will be killed sometime during this series. There'll probably be at least one, actually, if not all of them, try to seduce him at one point or another. Okay, I'm not expecting a whole lot from this one, but it should have its entertaining moments. This one will launch in Japan October 8th, about a week from today. No word yet who's going to be picking a majority of these series we're going to talk about up. I know Crunchyroll and Funimation have announced only 1 or 2 each, so we will probably have a full list for you guys next week to find out where to watch all your fall anime series. Next up, Shirobako. I know we were talking a little bit in the chat when we watched this one. This one is essentially girls help create anime. The anime. That's pretty much exactly what this series is. You have a group of 5 girls experiencing their daily troubles and hardships that occur when working in the anime industry, or as well as this anime cares to view them, because let's face it, we've all read the reports here and there of some of the really dismal working conditions some productions have to go through to create a weekly series. Now, that's not, the standard for everything out there. I'm sure there's some, actually really well done and well managed production studios out there, and we'll probably focus on those aspects for this anime series. But you know what, if you wanted another look into the behind the scenes of what should happen in the production of a series, this is probably going to be your closest look, rather than jumping all the way over to Japan on a plane. This is by Studio PA Works, so I have high hopes that at least it'll look quite nice. We've talked about it time and time again. Psycho Pass Season 2. Cannot wait for this. Now, I know Season 1 was produced and animated by Production IG, and it looked absolutely fantastic. For Season 2, they handed it over to Tatsunoko Productions. And in all the trailers that I've watched so far, I've yet to see any truly noticeable changes. I would say, actually, the only major change that I saw, which was slight in its own right, was the main character, Akane. Her eyes, the way they drew all the females' eyes in Season 1, their whole aspect was no moe. No moe at all. Moe was a banned word at Production IG. And I kind of think they went the complete opposite with Akane's style in the Season 1. Her eyes kind of looked like she had Down syndrome, I hate to say. With Season 2, with these trailers, she looks a little more determined, and I have to say, the way they designed the eyes is still somewhat similar to what they did in Season 1, but it's they downplayed the the Down syndrome a bit, if we're going to use that phrase on it. This one starts October 10th. Let's talk about... we'll talk about this one. Okami Shoujo to Kuro Oji. Now, this one it's going to be your typical comedy or slice of life school shoujo series. Main character is a very vain 16-year-old girl named Erika Shinohara. She gloats to all of her friends about her romantic exploits, but in truth, she actually has no boyfriend. She claims this candid photo that she has of this boy is actually her boyfriend. It turns out that boy actually turns to be a schoolmate. And in order to try to keep up appearances, she apparently has no choice but to make that boy into her so-called fake boyfriend. The problem is, though, the guy that we're talking about may look very nice on the exterior, but interior he's actually claiming to be an ultra black-hearted sadist. He takes advantage of Erika's weakness and basically treats her like his dog, and she deals with it in order to try to keep up appearances. So you're gonna have some bit of comedy thrown in here, but eventually they're all gonna resolve the differences and become an actual boyfriend-girlfriend couple. And I mean, it's shoujo. We kind of know where this is going to go. One that I actually did not throw into the video itself was the next series from Studio Trigger. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to this, and I believe I just threw it in here. There it is. It's called Ino Battle wa Nichijo Kei no Naka de. I'm not going to try to translate that for you right now. Basically, battle in the usually days is the brief synonym of what it is. Anyway, sorry. So the idea behind this one, you have 5 members of a literature club in high school. They're awakened with extraordinary powers. And they're thrown into the world of super-powered battles at their high school, on top of their normal daily routine. They claim there's going to be no secret organizations bent on world destruction, no super-powered wars, no brave heroes, no demon kings, nothing like that. However, the superpowered members, I should state, still look forward to the possibilities of adventure and believe that each day they're getting closer to those days of fantasy. So we have superpowered kids in battles and throw some romantic comedy in there to boot. It is Studio Trigger. I'm fully expecting completely over the top action, and we'll probably definitely get it. On the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we get the horrifically creepy series that you saw in the video, Kiseiju, roughly translated to Parasite. So, the little things that you saw in that, albeit fairly disturbing trailer, they arrive in silence and darkness. They descend from the skies. They have a hunger for human flesh. They are everywhere. They're called parasites, alien creatures who must invade and take control of a human host to survive. And the thing is, once they have infected their victims, they can assume any deadly form they choose. They don't have to stick with the human form. They can do monsters with giant teeth, winged demons, creatures with blades for hands. Anything you can probably think of in your mind, they can probably make up. But the majority of them have chosen to fall behind their ordinary human faces, so no one suspects them until it's too late. The main character, Shin, is battling for control of his own body against an alien parasite, and he's trying to figure out not only how to do that, but also warn humanity of the horrors to come. Madhouse Studios, you have thrown down the gauntlet in this trailer in terms of how freaky you can get and how disturbing you can get in this aspect. We've had disturbing, series before, but more in the shocking, disturbing sense that you got in a couple other series. This one almost reeks of like if Satoshi Kon was still alive and wanted to create a monster anime. You're going to get something like this. This one starts October 9th over in Japan. Let's go with something a little more lighthearted after after that one, shall we? Let's go on to... let's go. Grisaya no Kajitsu. I believe this is based off of a video game. I could be mistaken. This anime revolves around the Mihama Academy, which is a prison-like school that is built to preserve quote-unquote fruit that has fallen too far from the tree. This series focuses on 5 female students who each have their reasons for enrolling in the academy, basically being prisoners. Of course, one day, which will happen on the first episode most likely, the Institute's first male student arrives and throws everything off balance. So we'll see if he tries to help out the girls forgive themselves for their seedy past, or is his past even heavier than any of the others. So we'll see what happens with this one. This is from Studio 8-Bit and starts next week on October 5th. The first video you saw in the trailer lineup was Amagi Brilliant Park. And a lot of you noticed a couple things in there, namely, why is Fumoffu showing up in this one? Is this really like an offshoot of Full Metal Panic? No, but you're kind of close. Let me explain. So, this anime series is based off a light novel that was written by the same author of the Full Metal Panic series, or a light novel series. To tie in with that, the director of Lucky Star Hyoka and also Full Metal Panic, Yasuhiro Takemoto, is actually coming in to direct this piece. So, the whole idea behind this is that they want to consider this like a slapstick drama. So you have a main character named Seiya Kanye, a high school boy who is invited on a date in an amusement park by a mysterious, beautiful transfer student named Izusu Sento. They are introduced to Ratifa, a real, or so-called real princess, and the park's manager. Essentially, you find out that this is not just any amusement park, but rather one populated by fairies. So does that mean Fumoffu is actually a fairy? I'm not quite sure. I'm expecting lightheartedness. I'm expecting fun comedy with this one. Yeah, I'm definitely be checking this one out. This will be 13 episodes long. This is by Kyoto Animation, KyoAni. To some people, they can do no wrong, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. They do some amazing work. Cannot wait to check this one out. Let's pick up a continuation. That's going to go happen for this season. Chaika's getting a second season called Avenging Battle. Now, this one will only be about 10 episodes long, and is still also produced by Studio Bones. But I'm expecting a little bit more action than we got from the first season. Hopefully, Chaika speaks a little more. But then again, her limited vocabulary, let's call it that, seems to be a very moe trait for her, so I'm sure we'll probably have more of that. A couple other series that you probably did not see in or have heard about yet. Let's talk about Magic Kaito 1412. This is going to be coming up from A1 Pictures, and the idea behind this one is you have, the main character, which is named Kaito Kuroba. He's a so-called normal teenage student whose father is often absent. And when his father dies under mysterious circumstances, he's made aware of his father's, apparently he had a secret identity, who is a famous international criminal known as International Criminal 1412, the Phantom Thief. He was actually murdered by a mysterious organization for refusing to aid them in retrieving a mystical stone said to shed a tear during the passing of a particular comet. They're calling this the Pandora Gem. It is rumored that this so-called tear bestows immortality. So a lot of people obviously want to get to it. So he vows to prevent this organization from gaining immortality, assumes his father's identity, and begins his quest for the gem. So I'm thinking more of a supernatural style version of Lupin the Third. Probably nowhere near as crazy as Lupin the Third, but you know what? Could be fun. It is by A1 Pictures. They always done some great work before. We'll see how this one turns out. Let's see what else we have here on the list. Yes. I've talked about this series before, but excuse me. Actually, you know what? Let's go to this one. This one actually seemed kind of interesting. This one's called Cross Ange or Ange. The full title is Tenshi no Ryu no Rondo. I think I'm probably messing that one up. Oh well. This is the latest from Studio Sunrise. They've been around for so long. So if it's Studio Sunrise, you have tons of mechs. And not saying it's a bad thing, but we'll have some great battles out of this one. So let's see what's the backstory for this one. Due to humanity obtaining the data technology that has evolved to a great amount called mana, the human race is able to subjugate all war, starvation, pollution, and other problems on Earth by using its power, which is similar to magic. We've gone down this path before. Come on, Sunrise, give me something new. So Earth is in utopia, and of course that's probably going to change, and people are going to deal with mechs, and... Oh, really? Okay. The girls spend their days riding humanoid robots called Barameu, which is hunting giant dragons that come from another dimension to invade. Okay, so we have mechs, we have giant interdimensional dragons. Do we really need a story here? Just go for the fight scenes. That's all I pretty much need on this one. This will air in Japan on October 5th. No word yet when it will be released over here in the States. I'm sure Crunchyroll will probably pick this one up. Just a couple more. We're on the mecha aspect. Let's go with the two, not one, but two Gundam series that are going to go on for this time around. Let's start off with, yes, this seems to be like a sequel to G Gundam. This is called Gundam G no Reconquista. I could probably say that completely wrong. With this one from Sunrise, looks like we're continuing on with the G Gundams series. Should be a hell of a lot of fun. The first 3 episodes we probably won't see for a while because they will actually premiere theatrically over in Japan. The regular TV broadcast doesn't start till next week on October 4th. So I'm guessing it'll probably be a while before we get those first 3, I don't know if you call them episodes or movies or whatnot. Excuse me. But yeah, if you're a fan of G Gundam, you're going to get a little bit more. If you enjoyed Gundam Build Fighters, which was definitely a unique spin on what to expect, we have a continuation of it called Gundam Build Fighters Try. Now, this one is not a direct sequel because this series actually takes place 7 years after the end of the first series, after Iori and Reiji won the 7th Gunpla Battle World Championships. So basically we're going to deal with the next generation of people in the club. So, okay, that should be fun. More Gunpla battles for all you fans out there. Again, also by Studio Sunrise. I'm guessing this one will probably be picked up maybe by Crunchyroll, but considering I think Build Fighters was actually streamed on YouTube, I could be mistaken on that. But yeah, we'll have to see how that one turns out. I know I discussed this one in depth a little before. Terraform Mars. Come on, man. I mean, you saw the trailer. You kind of get this whole feel of Starship Troopers. We sent apparently moss and cockroaches to Mars to help terraform the Earth, or terraform Mars. Well, we apparently did, and got to the point where these two things merged together to form some superbug. So now there's a group of people who has to be genetically modified to survive Mars in order to become superhumans so they can actually fight the bugs before they come to Earth and run over everything. Yeah. We'll see how this one turns out. I mean, I'm not expecting anything deep whatsoever, and that's probably going to be a good thing because I truly enjoyed watching Starship Troopers. A very cult classic film. But to get anything beyond that, I'm not sure if we're going to get anything like that. But that's just a taste of what to expect for, this fall season. Episode 1 of Terraform Mars is already available on Crunchyroll. It's pretty ridiculous already. You guys can definitely go check that one out. There's so many I can't go through all of them, or else this would be like an hour and a half long show. I know some of you would be happy with that, but Yeah, I don't know if I can actually handle that long. There are a few others out there, like World Trigger from Toei Animation, where you have a gate to another dimension burst open, so you have all these gigantic so-called invincible creatures come through. You only way to fight them is a group of people who found a way to use some of the alien technology against the aliens. I mean, typical plot, but it should be fun nonetheless. Yowamushi Pedal has a second season. I really enjoyed that one. I'm starting to get more and more into the sports anime out there. Log Horizon has a second season. That was truly enjoyable. You guys should check that one out. Yeah, I mean, there are so many out there. There's at least one of almost every genre out there for people to truly enjoy. To get a full lineup of what's going to be coming down the pipeline very soon, you can hit up your favorite news site, animenewsnetwork.com, anichart.net. There's a few others out there to get a taste of what to expect. Over the next few weeks, I'll start giving some of my first impressions on the fall season, and hope to share your opinions as well. So be sure to hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. Always, you can catch me at OtakuLife Jason. Let me know what you guys think I should check out, or if you think you have a different opinion on something that I post. Please let me know, and I'll be happy to share them on the show. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. I know it was a bit on the long side, but that's perfectly fine. I want to thank you guys, as always, for hanging out every single Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. We'll be back for another episode from Mother's Basement. Not this Sunday. I actually have a wedding to attend to. But the following Sunday, we will be back. I will let you guys know on Facebook or Twitter. Michael will as well, if we plan to do anything on Saturday, or we may just get the week all together. We'll let you guys know. Real life comes first, but we always enjoy doing these episodes with you guys. So that's why we do it every single week. We've been doing it for over 2 years now, with no signs of slowing down. So thank you so much for hanging out. Stay tuned for post-show. And yeah, for AniBreak, I'm Jason. We will see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.